Imagination, and I live in my imagination.
Oh, I know you do.
It's cuckoo land every day.
Okay.
Everybody that meets me goes, I'd love to live in your head. I'm like, I don't know if you would. It's wild. Hello. How is Mona this evening? Welcome to the House of Inspiration. We are back.
Welcome. Yes, we are back. And Roisin, how was your holidays?
I would say wild, but unfortunately or fortunately, it was not, because I was there with my family. So as you know, I went out and surprised my mum for her 70th birthday. Oh. So I was there with my niece and nephew who are 10 and 5. So it was mischief from the point of view, jumping in out of pools, causing havoc on lilos all day long. But it was great because I'm going to tell you what else I've done.
Okay.
Confession. So I only booked my flight and I managed to blag an all-inclusive pass for the hotel to drink and eat all day, every day. And
How
that
did
was
you manage to do that?
Well, there was this, so I believe in paying it forward in a massive way, so much, right? And just because obviously I wanted to go out and surprise her, and different things happen with finances and things like that, and I just looked up and I went, if I'm meant to go, I'm meant to go, and I'll be guided in whatever way. So I meant to go yes, or I meant to go no. All of a sudden I had a new client booking, which meant I could book my flight out there because my bills were covered, so that was cool. And then on the very first day I arrived, I managed to get an apartment actually, so obviously I'd still paid for an apartment for 2 days because I wouldn't just go and fully take advantage of anything. But the last 2 days, there was a Scottish couple leaving, and they came over to my wee niece and said, oh, listen, do you want to play with that Lilo? It was a big pink donut rubber ring thing. So I was like, I'll have it.
As you do.
As you do. Yeah. Who doesn't like a pink donut to play with? So I went over to the couple as they were leaving, and I just says, listen, I don't know how you feel about this, and there's no pressure around this, but how would you feel about loaning me your armband and I will pay that forward to someone? I'll do a good deed if you loan me that armband for 2 days.
I feel like you're always so lucky. Always so lucky with stuff and get things for free.
You create your own luck, don't you? You create your own luck in life.
You do that all the time. You always, imagine things that's going to happen, and they do. So
and I think if you do good, you get good, and it doesn't. Yes. It's not every single day after day, but I do actually believe in that. And do you know? Obviously, this week is going to be about our goal setting, Mona.
Yes,
so as you said before, just there, in the imagination, what the mind believes, we will eventually conceive.
Yes.
So, on to that. Well, first of all, have you had a good week?
Yeah, I was working.
Prosperous, good, abundant? Everything
was fine. Was fine. I'm glad you had a good time, and the sun was shining and everything.
I know.
Was
well,
good.
I hope you didn't miss me too much in and out of here getting my nails done all the time, all of last week. So, Mona, obviously, about the goal setting part, we're here to have that organic conversation and speak about inspiration and, how we want to inspire people and our whole aim around this. So I know how I goal set, and it'll be completely different to you. What kind of tools do you use to achieve small goals, big goals, and how did you get this gorgeous place?
I think first of all we need to say that how important it is to have a goal. To me, is almost everything. I think goals...
Why is that, do you feel?
I think because goals leads us to self-discipline, motivation, and I think it gives us a purpose as well to focus on something. And to me, it's very important. I always have a goal. You see, when I achieve a goal, I will set up another one. And then when I achieve another one, I'll set up another one again. And, could be a small goal, could be a big goal, but always your goals will lead into a dream eventually if you have an idea of what you want to do. You see, if I don't have a goal, I just exist. I don't like that. I feel that I need to have something to focus on. And sometimes for people, a goal is maybe wake up and get up from bed.
Just brush your teeth.
Exactly. So depends What do you think, Roisin?
I think like for me, when like goals weren't a thing for me when I always knew there was more and I always knew I wanted more, but for me it was like a self-belief aspect and a self-belief issue and a not worthy thing. So for me, when I do a goal setting kind of ideology in my own head, like I always ask myself, who do I want to become at the end of this and why do I want to become that person? And for me, like it's small, really creating small steps that lead to big successes. And my first thing would be is like I'm a self-sabotager, so if we're speaking outside a business, I'm self-saboteur in that I eat to punish myself. I eat when I'm happy, I eat when I'm sad. So when I first started goal setting, I first started believing in myself and creating self-discipline, as you've said about goals. I gave up full fat juice for 1 week to prove to myself that I could do something. Me doing that just for 1 week was massive. And I know obviously we don't want to go off on tangents about fasting, that can be for another week, but you know, like just that small one thing gave me the belief in myself to then be able to go, okay, so next week I can maybe do a walk 3 times a week as well as giving up full fat juice. Then the week after that, week 3, I was doing 5 walks a week with no full fat juice, and something else was given up. And you know, then that built self-discipline in me for then business goals and bigger achievements. But
don't you think setting up a goal is really self-belief? Because you need to believe that you're going to achieve that. So what's the point to set up the goal if you can't believe in yourself? Like what I think, 100 people can tell you you're not going to make and do something, you're not going to achieve something. But in my case, I would go more, oh, well, I'm going to show you, I'm going to do it. Because I trust myself. I trust myself to do it because they don't have anything to lose. It's myself. I have everything to lose. So I need to trust myself to believe that I can make it. Because if I'm not going to make it, it's only me to blame for. But for me to do that, I have to always set up goals, small goals, and that will lead me to a bigger project. If it's in the house, if it's at work, if it's regarding business, or, you know, as you said, fasting. I've done the longest one was 24 days just fasting without eating, you know. And years ago, I would never, ever think that that's possible. But I set up this goal in my head, and then I thought, right, I need to achieve it. And I think you need to believe that's the first thing you need to do. You need to believe in yourself. You need to trust yourself. Then, you know, you will do it. I think. I'm not sure if...
Well, see, for me...
everybody's different.
I think it is different, and it's from different... I think it's different circumstances and different mindsets and different things because, like... And I love that you're saying that, but I never trusted myself for years because I would set a goal, and I have massive dreams still, as I know we both do. And do I know now that I can do that? I do, but there'll always be that feeling of unworthiness that will come to the surface where I'm not enough. Why would people do that for me? Why would people believe in me? But then I know that's the little girl who's speaking. I know that's
working about
self-worth. That's working on that, and 100%, and I do that daily, as you know. And I think
we can only improve daily.
Absolutely,
you know?
and I think goals are so important to me now because I have learned to trust myself and myself only. And yes, I trust people around me, but as you know, that sometimes takes a dip. through the other conversations. But you know, I think definitely I just always say, who do I want to become and why do I want to become that person? What massive goal do I have? And then I break it down into small intermittent sections of how can I achieve just that for this week, then the week after, then the week after, and continue to build that trust and that structure within myself. Because I think especially as well, what I see a lot around me and from working with young people is from different backgrounds, from different parts of poverty and things, that belief isn't always there.
No.
So how do we build that? in people? Like how?
I think we need to start with ourselves. That's a first crucial thing. You need to work on yourself always, because nobody's going to do the job for you. So you need to realize first that you have an issue.
And Mona, if you always trusted yourself, just going,
I think I did.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I don't know why I always had it in me, but because as I said, I had to trust myself, because if I wanted to do something so badly, I couldn't rely on anybody else. And to take a project, you know, that maybe without money, without, you know, savings, if I had nothing, but I trusted myself, and that was all I needed, because I know I can make it. Like I know I can do it, because I didn't imagine being different. I had this in my head, and that's what I was leading to, you know. I had this in my head. I believe it's going to happen, and it happened. So, but even some, you know, like a few years ago, when I was creating this place, it took me a long time. Even, you know, a goal was maybe buy a chandelier, you know, like next month, you know, that was my goal. So it's not always just big goals. As we said, sometimes for somebody's to get up from the bed because they don't feel like it's their day. Maybe they're struggling with depression. And, you know, just say to your head, okay, tomorrow I will get up from bed. Tomorrow I will, you know, get dressed. I will, you know, go and maybe speak to somebody. For somebody, that can be a goal. Like, I'm not saying goal has to be straight away, I'm going to be a millionaire, because that's, you know, sometimes you need small goals to make a big dream and big goal happen.
And I always say, like, if you, regardless of anything, if you just put one foot in front of the other, it has to lead to a destination. It doesn't matter how small these steps are, but it's one tiny step every single day will get to that destination at some point. And I think that's a crucial takeaway, isn't it? And then if you were like motivating your staff for goals, or even yourself, where do you, because like we all have up and down days, right?
Yeah.
So where do you find that strength and motivation from, and go, actually, do you know what, Mona, get the big girl pants on and let's go today. Let's do this, because like I'm sure when business was things. Because I remember you at the first time I come in, and you know, I was like, "This is and it is the most stunning place. Like, it's the most stunning place ever."
Thank you so much.
Honestly,
they call it hidden gem. Some of the local clients.
It is, and it is that, honestly. And it's also the house of inspiration.
Yes.
But I do think, because like you say, if something didn't go right, a ceiling cracked, you found a hole in the floor, and something, you know,
tough. Deal with the problem and move on. You can't just, you know, cry on something that happened. You know, if because that's not gonna help. You see, if you can't, just change your thinking, change your perspective. If something didn't work or something can be done, just think, okay, so what we can do to make it happen. Not like, oh, something broke or something didn't work, or just change your thinking and always look for kind of positive, I would say. And instead of, you know, and more you say positive things, that more positive things is going to happen to you. And I always try to kind of, you know, do things that are right with my soul, you know, that I'm not going to...
Love that.
I don't know, because if I don't feel good with things that I've done, then I'm not going to be good as a person and good, you know, to other people. So, yeah, I think so. I think you need to be good, you know, good with yourself. I think that's...
Be kind to yourself.
I think lots of people have... They doubt themselves for some reason. I don't know why. Of course, you have worse days. And you think, oh, that didn't work, but then that's fine. Just look for another solution. Always look for another solution. You know, in life, you can always fix things. It's just you need to change your thinking, and that's it. You know. That's how I roll.
Yeah, love that.
That's how I roll. I don't know. I always look for positive things. And if somebody, I hate when somebody will tell me, "Oh, it can be done," without even trying. I hate that. Just Get up,
I know you
try
do.
it. Try it. Do everything that possibly can be done. And then tell me can be done.
Yeah. Very strong saying, where there is a will, there is a way.
Yeah.
And I used to say to everybody, come to me with a solution, not a problem.
Yeah, yeah.
And then if there was a problem, I'd be like, okay, so solution 1 didn't work, let's try solution 2, solution 3.
Yeah, yeah.
But, and I suppose it's that, because again, going back to that, I didn't always see the world that way either. I didn't always see those solutions were there. It's only through like a certain, because again, when you grow up with those conditioned beliefs about things, like it's only when I started a personal growth thing that came to me through like a work environment at the time, that I was able to understand that I just always knew there was so much more in the world than just a 9 to 5 job. And not that there's anything wrong with that at all, but just going to work and coming home and going to every single day. And I always know there's more, and I still believe there's so much more. And I'm only at the start of a 12, 13 year journey of discovery about my soul, my purpose, my higher power, like different things around that. And like I think for me it was different just because of I grew up with a different mindset, but then I always knew you could always get over stuff. You could always just move on, or you didn't have to be like stuck in the same circumstance.
Yeah, you don't
or
have
let
to.
things eat you up, or because if you stay in that past environment, you're never going to be able to have the future that you want to create because you're stuck in that mindset. And that's why goals and discipline and every single thing around what we're speaking about is so important. And how much, because obviously we're speaking about imagination, and I live in my imagination.
Oh, I know you do.
It's cuckoo land every day.
Okay.
Everybody that meets me goes, I'd love to live in your head. I'm like, I don't know if you would. It's wild.
Well, I have to say, I do kind of walk strongly on my feet. Like I've got quite a strong personality, but and I know what I want, and I would always focus on things that I would like to do. But
does the boss man agree? That's a yes.
But I think I always imagine in my head where I am. I actually believe that's happening.
Yes.
And it's happening. It's true. I have to say, it's true. And everybody who see themselves somewhere or believe, but actually believe in it, not just say it, believe that this is going to happen, then 100%, I'm telling you, will happen. If it's about the music, if it's sport, if you see yourself winning something in sport or music or any industry, in the industry, then it's gonna happen.
Well, do you know what? It's funny because I always seen, and this was again part of the imagination state, right? I didn't even know who I wanted to be when I was younger. I was just always really into art, and I loved art and artistry and stuff like that. And I just knew I wanted to be working with people, but lights on me. And I don't mean that, I mean that in a humble way. I don't mean like I wanted to be, And I always used to see myself working backstage where and it was for years. And then about 8-9 years later, I was working backstage at London Fashion Week. Do you know, with a makeup brush in my hand, and for me, I knew that was my imagination that got me there.
Yeah.
And it's also a case of it's something there's it's such a true saying.
Yes.
Your mind conceives everything in front of you.
Yeah, and what you say as well.
Definitely.
Bring things back.
Definitely.
You know? Everything you say is coming back to you. You know.
Yeah, manifesting every minute that we speak. And I think that's negative and positive talk is so important, and I think that's something we can delve into further next week. So do you want to do our 5 top takeaways for goal setting for every day? Do you want I do you go first?
Right. Let's
So
do it together.
Okay, I would say number 1, who do you want to become and why? Why are you doing this? Why do you want to go? Understand your why, because that will push forward your purpose for
it gives you
putting everything into it.
satisfaction as well, you know. Satisfaction, as we said. develops discipline because you have to achieve the project, you have to achieve the task, so you're disciplined and
You're trusting yourself.
You're trusting yourself, you know. Self-belief, I would say, that you're going to do it. But we need to remember, Roisin, as well, sometimes, as you said, growing up, you didn't have those thoughts about yourself. And unfortunately, very often, we have kids or, you know, growing up that they didn't know any difference. Like, somebody put this complex in their heads. You know, maybe parents were always telling them they're not good enough, or people around them. So you growing up with no self-belief, and it's very, very hard to turn this around, you know.
Yeah.
Not everybody can make it, because for years they've been thinking, oh, they can't do it or they can't achieve something. And unfortunately, very often parents would scar us.
Yeah. As teachers as well.
Teachers, people around
peer
us.
Groups,
I'm not saying
friends
every parents are the same, but I don't know. Like a stupid example, you have, I don't know, sometimes mom will tell the small girl that she's fat, right? So she's going to believe all her life that she's going to be fat, you know? And that's already putting in the child complex about herself, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the worst thing, you know?
I think most people in today's society, especially parents, think very small. They don't see the big picture. They just think small because of how society.
And it's what's happened to them in there, because I think I think that a lot of people throw money at kids as well, because they just think maybe they didn't have a lot and they maybe have more now, and actually it's that then breeds entitlement, and entitlement breeds give. I don't need to work. And again, there's no right or wrong aspect to that, because you understand why people do that. If you come, like, I know if my mum had money right now, she'd probably throw money at us because we didn't have that growing up, do you know? And that, again, there's no right or wrong around that. It's just what happens. But I think it is fundamentally about working on yourself first and foremost to build that self-belief and self-discipline for goals.
Yeah, because you need to see that in the child's head, you can do it, you can make it.
Definitely.
You know, if you can't do something, as long as you try, you know, running, anything, you know, gymnastic, music, try. I believe in you. And you have to do that, you know, you have to do that, because who's going to do it if not your parents?
Yeah.
They're the first people. They should believe in you and guide you in the right direction. So,
and if not everybody's had that, fortunately or unfortunately, because we don't always choose our family, it's like when you get to the adulthood stage, or you get to an age where you can learn that actually you can stop putting up with rotten bleep off of people. You don't have to put up with stuff from just because it is your family. You don't have to sit there and take it. Like, and if you're not in a co-creative environment that's building a strong mindset for you, then you're allowed to leave that environment, because like, I'm often...
Oh, it's absolutely fine to do that. If it's bad, if it's toxic, or if it's bad emotions, or if it takes all your energy, you can feel it, then just leave it. Don't even try to make, you know, any friendship or any relationship, because it's gonna, you know, takes your energy. You can't be successful if your partner or people around you
are championing.
Yeah, because you go home to this person who, I don't know, you share life with, you know, you eat, you sleep, you do everything together. So if they take, you know, the bad energy from you, or they telling you, you know, you're doing something too much, or you work too much, or, well, how you supposed to? You already have a hard day, you know, and you go home, you want to have
support,
you want to have support and love, and somebody who believe you're going to achieve something, and, you know, and believe that it's a process, is going to take time, you know, and not just giving you crap constantly.
And you need that person
to support each other. I'm not saying only, you know,
of course,
both of people needs to support each other always, you know, and their goals, because that's how we grow. That's how we let our partner grow. But very often, I think partners, they they don't want to do that because they are comfortable with the situation they are just now. So if you're growing and they don't, then that becomes a problem because, you know, you're interfering with their, you know, comfortable life. So why would you grow? Why would you achieve something, you know, if I'm fine where I am, I'm fine you not doing anything, you know, because that's me being comfortable, you know. So you don't want that either.
No,
I think.
definitely.
What do you think?
No, I agree, and I think like, because obviously I didn't have that for like years and years in a partnership, so that was why I had taken myself just to be single, to raise my own vibration in regards to believing in my own self, because I was in constant competition with somebody in a relationship, which I'm fine to say if he hears this, because it's all good for pals. But and we both admit and speak about that, because we were in our 20s for 10 years together at the time. So, and that constant competitiveness, it would drive me to be more, it would drive him to be more, but it wasn't a healthy place for goal setting and, you know, like co-creation in a relationship, to have that support. But that's when I started to learn self-love, self-discipline, trusting myself, trusting something that's above me, because, or below me, whoever it may be. But it's that whole thing of, I think you need to have support, or else you first of all need to believe in you. And then if you recognise that somebody isn't supporting you, but when you love yourself, you'll be able to recognise if somebody's going to support that back or not. Because like you've just said, if somebody's a wee bit more insecure and doesn't want to watch your growth, they're going to try and hold you down.
Yes.
And I think that's
and I would
where...
say stay away from people like that.
100%, friends, family, everything. And I do think that is part of goal setting. So my 5 top takeaways for goal setting would be: know your who, what, why, where and when. So who do you want to become at the end of it and why?
Yes.
Small steps lead to big successes.
Yes, I agree on this one.
I do a focus wheel, or so I either do a wheel or a triangle. I do work, rest and play. 90% is play, but I'm only joking, it used to be, not anymore. I either do a focus wheel, which I do like spokes in. I do family, friends, career, relationship, fitness, and I score them all out of 10, and I write just a goal once a week and how I'm going to get to that. And do you know what else is really important? Clearing out your energetic space in your home, not holding on to things. Like, I found an ex-boyfriend's pair of socks the other day, right? And it was thermal socks, and I just went, I was looking for these thermal socks, and I went, oh my God, it's freezing out there. I need to, because I'd get home from a holiday, roasting hot, you know. And I went, why do I have them? That was like 3-4 years ago. What the? And I was going, and it just made me, something just clicked in my head going, I need to clear my entire house out. And I started, like, honestly, I've got bin bags down the stairs going, because I'm just holding on to it. And it's not that I'm meant to purposeful hold on to energy. It's just that it was there, and I was like, what?
I'm gonna do it.
So clothes I've not worn for 6 months, why am I wearing clothes? Like, that's, when I clear all that out, that energy, I'll then allow for other stuff to come in. So I think I think that's number 4, and then number 5, what would you? Visualization, imagination?
Yeah, of course that. But I think we need to also remember that before you set up any goals, you need to know what you want to do.
Or be clear and specific on the goal.
Yeah.
That should really be number 1.
Yes, that should be number 1. So first of all, have an idea in your head. Where do I want to be? What do I want to do? And then set up the goals, you know. Find something. If you don't have any purpose, or if you don't have a goal, or if you don't have a dream, or you don't know where you want to be, look for it, find it, and focus on it, because you're going to be disciplined. Doesn't matter what subject is it. Music, as we said, sport, business, anything.
Yeah,
you know?
I agree. What do you love doing, and why? Do you know, that could be your purpose. And I think next week, what would you want to discuss? Maybe a wee bit of self-talk and affirmations, or, you know, like clear intentions around business.
We'll keep that as a surprise, yeah. No,
always.
But yeah. No, listen, get up from your bed. If you're too lazy, and find something to do. And, you know, remember, I was a single mom with a 1.5-year-old baby, and I had to focus on something. I couldn't just sit and cry in a corner and thinking, oh my God, what I'm going to do with my life. So, maybe I've done that for 2 days, but after, you know, I had to clear my mind. Okay, what's the plan? What I'm going to do, where I'm going with this. And you have to. as I said, for me it's important. Otherwise, I just exist. I've got nothing to focus. I feel down. I've got nothing to do. No, for me, is really that's how I always are. I always have goals, smaller, bigger. Achieve them, have another one. Achieve them, have another one. That's it. And for me, that's
what a beautiful thing that is, because that's why we're sitting in Mona Bishara, and we're sitting here as part of House of Inspiration, because we've both had a goal and we've set it, we've understood it, and now we're 2 weeks into achieving it. So yes, thank you, Mona Bishara. Thank you to the House of Inspiration. Thank you, Director Tommy. Thank you. And good evening.
And we'll all see you next week.
Next week. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
1, 2, 2. Mic check 1.
Mic check 2. Something.